Welcome to the Big Dawg Crypto Podcast. This is your number one crypto podcast to hear directly from the movers and shakers, innovators, and disruptors in the cryptocurrency industry. Follow on Twitter for updates and to communicate directly at Woof Big Dawg. That's at Woof Big DAWG. Now, here is your host, the one and only Big Dawg Crypto.
DigitalBits is a protocol layer blockchain focused on supporting consumer digital assets. This is inclusive of assets such as loyalty and reward points, branded NFTs, fan tokens, and notably branded stablecoins. Find DigitalBits on Twitter at DigitalBitsORG. DigitalBits, making the future happen today.
And welcome to the latest episode of the Big Dawg Crypto Podcast. I am your host, Big Dawg Crypto. Eljaboom on the podcast. My man, how are you doing?
Hey, how you doing? How's everything, mate?
It's going good. It's going good, man. It's, it's wild. I mean, looking at the markets right now. I mean, we're in the long-awaited fourth quarter. Let me ask you, you've been in the space a while. You've analyzed stuff. What are your thoughts on fourth quarter 2021? What are you looking for?
I said that before. I really don't think there will be any big dump in 2021. I mean, many people are saying on December 15th, we will see all-time highs. Yet what worries me that many people are saying that, and sometimes things goes different when people actually say something and they all admit on saying the same words. But
Sure.
So far, so good. I mean, the Chinese ban was actually handled way different and faster for the market to recover and go bullish. And that means actually it's a really positive sign in my opinion.
Well, and it's interesting because we've had the ban, a few years in a row, but it just seems in general though, don't we always have, and whatever the FUD may be, and I know there's some realities and some right versus what's actually happening, but it just seems like there's this narrative that you see these sites run with sometimes, right? And they do it again and again, and whatever it may be. And so the thing I'm saying, and I want to kind of get your opinion, is that you're seeing more, at least I'm saying, more accumulation, right? By whether it's Wall Street or some of the bigger whales and whatnot. Do you think people are maybe, and the retail traders specifically, are getting a little bit more, I don't want to say immune, right? But they're maybe kind of realizing that, hey, this is something that's a shakeout more than often, because as you watch Bitcoin, it tends to keep going up, right? So do you think there's a little bit more awareness of that now?
See, I'm going to answer this out of any emotions.
Okay.
I don't think it's more of an awareness, because till now, the people are into this space are very low in numbers. We are way early adopters, all of us. And I mean, we're like the soldiers and the heroes of this movement. Saying the word awareness, it's a bit early. I mean, when we have more and more a percentage of the population are in this space, then the awareness will be there. But now it's more of, we are yet more into the game of the institutions and big whales and who want to jump and tap into the market. And when you're saying about the awareness, it's about the cycle. How long have you been inside this cycle? Because I'm quite sure the people who joined recently, they are the people who are shaking very hard. Yet the people who joined 2017 and before, they are the one hodling at the moment.
Now, you know what, brother, you're right about that, because I'm thinking like me, when I watch the charts and whatnot, I mean, this doesn't bother me at all, but I'm thinking I've been in this space 5 years, so I've seen this. And I guess you are right about that, because if somebody new that's coming into the space, they're kind of like, oh my gosh, this is it. Everything's being sold and they panic sell. I guess so, but for somebody new coming into the space, then specifically, what would you recommend? One or two things, somebody that just bought their first crypto, they're looking at the charts, they see the volatility. What would you tell that person to really think about a couple of the main things?
See, it has two different, let's say, two different items, in my opinion. Number one is always accept to lose and always invest what you are willing to lose. Because because the point is, I've noticed that willing to lose is different than accepting losing as well. Because some people are willing to lose, but when they lose, they really don't accept it. Yet they stay inside the same circle where they don't want to learn and they don't find new opportunities. And then at that moment, they are actually losing at that exact moment because they are trapped in a circle where they don't want to learn from it and they don't want to find another opportunities. And that's the part where they fail. This is the first part. Second part, don't run after the so many X's. Run after projects where you have done your own due diligence. Not just wait for anyone to tell you, including myself, because I as well make mistakes. No one, I mean, even exchanges make mistakes. They delist many projects after some time, right?
Yeah.
Because some projects, it doesn't mean, I always give this example. Let's say you want to open a restaurant that sells, for an example, French fries, and it was a great idea, etc. And before you open it, someone came with a big institute, big financial capability, and he opened 3 floors of French fries and wedges and so many different recipes, whatever. I mean, definitely he will kill you because he have the financial capability to do so. So, and other people who invested in this small one, they lost. But that's how the nature. It's a startup. People need to understand the startups and they need to accept there are startups. If you don't want to join startups, then just go find the top 50 and that's it. Even the top 50, they've changed through the years.
Yeah. Well,
we have so many good projects and they are no longer even top 100 anymore.
Nah, that's spot on. I mean, one of the things you're saying there, which I totally agree, is to do your own research. I mean, look, I having been on crypto Twitter, for years. I mean, look, there's projects I promoted that I like, ones that I really believed in, and ones that I've been on teams in. And I said, I could care less if I'm with the project, if I recommended it, if a friend did. Always do your own research, because at the end of the day, no one is responsible for your trade but you, right? This coin could go to 1,000, could go to 0. You ultimately have no idea, but as long as you research it and you're comfortable with it, then hopefully, the decisions, right, come out a little bit better. But there's no doubt there's a challenge. But no, I agree with you on that. You got to research. And I that's the thing I would say. Yeah. I mean, more people in the space, you just got to research.
Yep. That's true.
Yeah. So so speaking of research, so you've been in the space for a while. Do you remember when you first got in, do you remember what you were doing? Like when you first thought about crypto, or you first were like, what is this crypto thing? Do you remember like what you were doing?
Yeah, I've shared the story before, but I'll share it here again. I started as a gamer in World of Warcraft, and I had my own guild where we start boosting people. 2009. Start early 2010. Some kids came and they wanted boost, but they couldn't have PayPal or etc. So they told me, hey, we have something called Bitcoin. Can we pay with it? So for us, that was a bit gibberish. We didn't even know what is this. So I asked my guild and they said, yeah, it's something people mine. I don't know what is it. So I said, do we do it? They said, well, if we have a space, let's get them. So we start accepting this Bitcoin, even though we didn't even know what the shit is this, and we didn't even buy it. We said, okay, let's just get it. You know what I mean? If there is no one paying now through PayPal, it means we're going anyway. Let's just get someone with this BTC thingy. So we had it. We sold it at. I had so many BTC, and I sold it at the end of 2011. For almost nothing. It was very cheap. It was a mistake, actually. And and then I came back 2016 and I start step by step accumulating. And then at 2017, when all-time high came, I called one of my friends from the UK. He used to be in my guild, and I remembered that he had 1,000 Bitcoin with him. So I sent him a message in WhatsApp. I said, dude, do you still have your Bitcoin? He told me, I'm busy now. I'll talk tomorrow. I told him, just look now. And he said, wait, I'm going to check why. I told him, dude, it's at the moment, it was 21K, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He told me, really? I said, yeah. And then he went checking. He said, oh shit, I bought few games 2 years ago in Steam using my 1,000 Bitcoin.
Oh no!
Yeah, man. I'm quite sure there are so many people like us, actually.
Yeah, no, but I got to tell you, bro, I had a lot of fantastic guests, and I appreciate every one of them. I think you may be the first one that actually had it back in 2010. And there's not. I mean, there's some people that have, but as you know, it's not everybody had it back then. So to hear stories like that.
Yeah, but for me, the reason to have it, because this space started from the game place, where people who are freak playing computers, and then they found a way just to keep the computer running and make something called Bitcoin. So that's why it came to me early, because I came from the same industry where it started, games.
But it's interesting too, because one of the things that I've told people, of course, people that say, "Oh, I wish I, had bought it back in 2010, whatever." And I'm like, look, a lot of people that had it then, from what I understand, and how you're validating this, it's like either they might have lost it, or the minute it went up a little bit, they might have sold it. So I think, anything, right? Hindsight's 2020. I mean, you had no way to know it was going to hit 60 something, right?
Exactly.
Whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of that, so would you want to give a price prediction on Bitcoin this fall? A range?
I mean, I'm expecting before the end of year it will reach 75 range.
Okay.
But I mean, everyone's saying 100K.
Right.
But I'm not sure about that.
So would you want to go in would you want to say, if we jump ahead to 2025?
No, just see, for me, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really into the daily trading. I'm most like, I like to see projects, I like to see new projects, I like to take the challenge in the new project, I like to hodl. And I believe in the technology. I believe it will be the future without a doubt. And price comes later. Now, if we focus on spreading, and if we focus on making everyone know about it, and if we focus on accepting it, then that's called success. And success by default will bring all-time highs and will never stop by default.
I completely agree. And I love asking the price prediction because it's kind of fun to ask, but I always, when somebody asks me, I'm like, look, you take $3 in my price prediction, go into your local coffee shop, right? And you can get, you can probably get, that's about it. So, well, let me ask, so one of the things in the news, you look at El Salvador, legalizing it as a currency. Do you see, when you look at the world, I mean, would you want to say, and I like, and when I say a lot of times when I look at the future, it's more of I'm interested to see people that are in the industry, what direction they see it going in, especially with you, that you've been in this space for so long. Could you see more than 2 or 3 countries? Could you see 10? I mean, how do you see it adapting to the financial, when it comes like that, right? We see El Salvador, Ukraine, right? We see certain things. Could you see several more countries legalizing in the next few years, or do you think there's going to be challenges with that?
See, again, this is my the way or the view I see it. I see 2 different paths here. The path number 1, they will try to too much regulated and put so many laws for it, etc. But that doesn't mean they will be able to stop it. They will slow it very hard to make the movement slower and slower and slower till the point they start to understanding it more and more. The other path, no, I see, and that's my own view again, that maybe big institutes, maybe big governments, etc., they will try to take a part of the top tier exchanges where they buy the company shares, and then rather than they fight it, they will be more into the regulation while as well accepting it. And I believe, in my opinion, that would be more to happen. It means these big companies, if you want to, like the centralized exchanges, etc., if you want to operate, then you have to sell some shares to us, because then we will be a part of understanding this, a part of regulating this in our places, etc., etc. And then it will be as well our interest to make this movement happen. And I believe this is more likely to happen than just putting so many regulations just to slow it, because they will not stop it. They will just slow it this way.
I agree with you on that. You're not going to stop it, and I think a lot of people in governments are realizing that now. When you look at the top 10 coins, and you look at the top 10 in CoinMarketCap, and right now, whether you're looking at Binance Coin or Solana, you look at the different blockchains and whatnot. Jumping ahead a few years down the road, do you think we see the same sort of breakup of blockchains versus stable coins, or do you think we see one of the two kind of taking over the other?
The point,
like with the top project, yeah.
See, if you want to talk reality, the reality in this space at the moment is not based on teams. It's not based on technology. It's based on who has much more money. For an example, if you want to talk about the best blockchain at the moment, it's called Phantom. That's actually the best blockchain technology being done in this space.
Just for speed or what particular?
Phantom, FTM, I think the ticker for it.
And for Phantom, I mean, you mean in specific just to the speed or just to the transactions, you mean?
Yeah, no, it's everything. Speed, transactions, it's the best. It's the best. It's ready to be scalable. It's ready for everything. There is none, not even one, can be compared to Phantom as a technology. I'm saying as a technology. Yet others are having the more hype because they have more institutes, because they have more money to push the market cap, to take the eyes, to make the big show, where to attract users at the end of the day. Like so many technologies like Solana, like DOT. Like DOT had a huge FOMO and etc. Until now, the blockchain is not even there. Even many projects came out, they claiming that they are built on Polkadot. Yet, when they are out, they're all ERC20. So how can you say you are a Polkadot project? And you go check, you're going to find so many of them claiming that they are Polkadot, and they're all ERC20. But when you ask them, they say, yeah, when Polkadot comes out. But they are only using the FOMO of the word Polka, where they get attraction of the new users to buy in.
And some will switch over, but most won't. Sure. Yeah. Now, it's interesting because you look at that, and I remember looking at the other day, I was pulling up the fourth quarter 2017, when you look at that at the top 10, you look at now, and then, it's interesting, but, Bitcoin's always been one, and then Ethereum's two. Now, there's always that question about, does Ethereum flip Bitcoin even for a quick minute? That's
as well a very funny topic. If you ask me, in my opinion,
you heard it now,
yeah. In my opinion, I believe BNB is the best coin in the space. Why? Because it has the best exchange in the space. Yet so many people don't. Or some people, let's say, they fight it the same as any other big thingy in the world. But it's the most accepted blockchain in all other exchanges, except few of them because they are afraid of the competition. But Binance Smart Chain at the moment, as a blockchain, is listed in so many centralized exchanges, right?
Sure.
And till now, the volume that happens of the trade in the Binance Smart Chain is, 12 times more than the one happening in ERC20, and it did not pass the numbers, etc. Number three, the BNB is used in so many websites, it's used in so many projects, etc. Number four, so many companies are either acquired by Binance, either they are having their launch pad in Binance, either Binance, they invested in them, etc. So all these projects, they are having a use for the BNB, either as a service, one of the payment services inside, or as the blockchain to use the transaction fees. You have Pancake Swap, which is the largest DEX in the Binance Smart Chain. And as well, they have a huge use for the BNB. So if you talk, I mean, yes, BNB as a technology is not the fastest at the moment. It's a bit expensive as well. Because when the gaming came, everyone is jumping into the Binance Smart Chain, creating game projects. And that means a lot of new users coming into the space who are playing a lot of games, doing transaction if it's on chain. And that's, of course, made some problem in the scalability. And I think it can be solved if they made something to solve it from a technology for the games, let's say. But that's about it. So if you tell me what deserve at the moment to be number 2, I would say BNB. That's my opinion. But the reality is, one like Elon Musk is now supporting, let's say, Doge suddenly. And I mean, who knows if Doge one day might flip BTC, which right. I'm investing myself in Doge. I love Doge. I love Doge community. But I'm not really with seeing Doge number 1 on CMC, because number 1 project will be a meme coin, and that's not really something I would like to see. At least that's me. I mean, of course, if it happened, it means the community decided to happen.
Sure. One thing I do is whenever I have a guest that it brings up a topic that somehow brings up a previous episode, I always have to, kind of reference it a little bit. And I love all my podcast guests, but I think I've shared with you, I have extra respect and much love for CZ for coming on the first episode. And so obviously, and I've always, and look, I'm consistent. When I tweet things out, I've tweeted them for 2, 3, 4 years. I don't change my tweets. I've wanted to see BNB do good. I remember watching it back when it was under $10. I mean, it's gone up. So, I mean, it's just done phenomenal, right? Going up high. But in general, aside from that of BNB and the coin, you look at Pancake Swap, and you see, of course, with Uniswap and Pancake Swap, the Ethereum fees get a little bit crazy sometimes. And so I guess one of the things I've been kind of confused about or wondering is, you see Pancake Swap and you see how fast Binance Smart Chain moves, right? Ethereum being as big as it is, it's almost like I don't want to say a problem, but like a side effect of its own success. At what point do you think Ethereum perhaps gets a little bit quicker? I mean, we look at the fork, talking about that happening and whatnot. It just seems like at some point Ethereum should scale. I mean, regardless of all the other competition that's out there. And to me, there's got to be, nothing's going to rule everything, right? We have a big world with 8 billion people, almost 8 billion people. We need as much, cross-chain interoperability. I always talk about that. But do you think Ethereum finds a way to get a little bit quicker at some point?
I don't know. See, the point I always say, the space moves very fast. Sure. And the community is crazy as hell. So they changed their mindset every 5 minutes, and they love something new every 5 minutes, and they move to something every 5 minutes. And the cycle is really crazy. I mean, if you just slept for 1 month and you wake up, you might find everything changed from the perspective of the community, likeness. Mm-hmm. But Ethereum, they said they wanted to make the 2.0. I mean, till now, it's not happening. The question is, when it happens, would it be late? Would we see Solana going more? Because, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Sam, which is the CEO of FTX, he's a brilliant guy. No one can say something else. This guy is smart as hell. He's young. He made billions of dollars just from being smart to catch the arbitrage. And I think he made $8 billion out of this. I read an article before. So he's a genius. I mean, we cannot say. So there are gamers, there are players. The question is, who puts more money and who moves faster? He will be the one taking the community, and that's it.
Yeah, no, I mean, that makes sense, because and I always say this with teams in general, you need 3 things, in my opinion, for any team to be successful, right? You have to have a good value proposition, you have to have a good team, and you really have to have funding, because the fact is development takes money, right? Getting the word out there takes money. We've seen so many projects that were vaporware, didn't do anything, and then ones that are actually legitimately doing things. But yeah, I think like anything, right? As time passes, you're going to see the projects that rise to the top and the ones that don't. But like you said, the space moves fast. So there's no question about that. Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, look, I want to do a couple of other things, kind of on a personal note. Country-wise, what is your favorite country you've been to? And if you could, right now, you get a plane, go anywhere for lunch, where would you go?
the best, in my opinion, is Dubai.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's a place for everyone. It's a place that always find the new on everything, and rather they fight it, no, they jump into it to understand it. And that's something what makes the human actually develop as a human race.
Yeah.
Rather than I fight it, I try to understand it. I try to be a part of it. And then we try to see what we can do after that, but not just neglect it or say no.
Right. Okay. And if you were traveling somewhere right now, what's a country you want to visit that you've always wanted to go to?
No, I traveled a lot. So,
Okay.
I mean, if I want to go, I would go maybe now El Salvador.
Okay. Cool.
Just to feel the experience, to speak with people.
Yeah.
I mean, to feel like, to feel Satoshi Nakamoto dream happening. It's something cool to live it as a full experience, just to see how is it as a full experience with the lighting network, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when you're not, as I'm sure you're working many hours a day, what sort of hobbies when you're not working? What do you like to do to kind of like you're away from crypto? Look, and I always say it's kind of hard to fully get away from crypto, right? Because you're still thinking about stuff. But what sort of things you like to do when you're not doing crypto?
Actually, no, I'm a workaholic. So means I wake up every day, 5 a.m. I start working till I find it's 12 a.m. at night.
Yeah, man, look, brother, I appreciate it. It's funny. I asked you that, and I was hiking. I like to hike a little bit, and I'm hiking just for like an hour to get away. I was working the other day, and it was like you said, one of those long days. And I'm outside this kind of not a cave thing in the hiking area, and literally had a Bitcoin, like a little orange thing on the side of the rock. And I'm like, there's the Bitcoin. So I'm like, I can't get away from it. But yeah, I think once you go down the rabbit hole, like if you know, you know. Yeah, so.
But actually, not everyone will do that. Everyone, in my opinion, everyone in this space, even if he was a farmer, even if he was a doctor, even if he was an engineer, even if he was a scientist, even if he was whatever, a butcher, whatever, if he believed in this, it means he is different. Because so many people, they see the sign. The majority see the sign, but they don't do anything. They don't even look at it. They don't even, you just know, oh, okay, this is Bitcoin and that's it. But for anyone who will go and dive more than that, everyone in this space is a different person at the moment, in my opinion. Everyone in this space, they deserve to go to Mars because they can change the world.
I agree with you on that. Absolutely. That is definitely the best way to say it. Eljaboom, I appreciate it. How do people find you on Twitter? What's the best way?
My name.
Okay.
That's it. I don't think it's more than that.
Okay. So tell them find you on Twitter. And look, brother, I appreciate you taking the time to come on the podcast. I'm glad we were able to make this happen. Thank you for asking. And it's my pleasure to be there. I've seen your videos. I mean, all the people you interviewed are nice and valued people in the space. So it's really, I'm honored to be in. And thank you for giving me that time. Hey, thank you for saying that. I do greatly appreciate that. And like I said, my main goal is for people to learn stuff, especially new people to the space. And I think a lot of the stuff you shared in here, they can benefit from hearing. So thank you. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. This is the latest episode of the Big Dawg Crypto Podcast. I'm your host, Big Dawg Crypto. Thank you so much for watching and listening.
You've been listening to the Big Dawg Crypto Podcast. Follow on Twitter at Woof Big Dawg. Woof Big DAWG. And run faster than the competition. Woof, woof.